Well, okay, so it's Kay and Kay, Christy and Kathy, um, raw and real.
It is raw and real time, real reactions.
And so,
Okay, so we're talking about when we don't accept the gift, we are being dishonest, right?
and the gift is whenever we are helping someone, whether we're a healer, a coach, whatever, when our intention is to help someone and we give that to someone, we know that it's there. It's like getting a birthday gift and not opening it. So just because we don't see that they've applied it or opened the gift doesn't mean that the gift isn't there. It's always there for them when they're ready to receive it. So sometimes we'll see that right away and sometimes we won't. Is that?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes, exactly. And so this repeated healing doesn't have to happen because once you're healed, you're healed. So if you are not healed, it means you weren't healed to begin with. You weren't ready. You didn't accept the gift. Um you weren't honest with where you really were. And sometimes it's in the subconscious and it's got to be brought up to the conscious level. So maybe it's in stages that I can forgive or be healed at this level, and then I got to be healed at this level because I didn't even wasn't even aware that I needed healing at another level. So it's bringing it to awareness, to awareness, to awareness, to awareness.
The layers, there's layers. And so it's not a one and done. None of this is a one and done. We're going to constantly learn and relearn and revisit. Because people are like, I don't know why that's coming up. I've let that go. Well, it's coming up so that you can let it go in a different way. And you've already got the gift and the ability to know how to do that. But sometimes we need each other. And that's why it's so important who we're around and to be with like-minded that encourage us and support us because they can remind us of the gifts that we already have within ourselves. And it's not like we give it to people. It's we're sharing our wisdom, our knowledge, our training, our experience, and with those that we attract so that they can, so that, I mean, as we give, we receive, right?
Right, right. And what it is revealing, allowing that other person to take the time to feel vulnerable, to be okay, to look at themselves and to really, really take that honest look and to be vulnerable and to know that there's not, they don't have to pretend anymore. Like it doesn't, I don't have to pretend to be something other than what I really am. And sometimes that's really freaking scary to really look at, oh my gosh, this is who I really am. Because in the past, there might be past things that we're still playing in the future and the now. So we can't move forward into the future because, or be present even in the now because we're attached to the crap from behind us.
Yeah. We haven't divorced it. We haven't let it go. And it's not like when you divorce the past, like what you're saying, because we have those triggers from the past. But and they served us. We want to release them with gratitude and forgiveness. And when we can fully do that, that's the layers because you're like, oh, I forgive them, and this past year, just because this past year I had to forgive my ex on a whole deep level because my cells were still holding on to a lot of hate. And you hate to say I hated someone, but I was so hurt and I had to keep going through the motions so quickly that this past year I was given the opportunity to really have that come to surface and to really cry it out and to really honor it and to really work through forgiveness. And that was not a one and done. That took me months and months and it's still not done, but I feel so much relief
Mm-hmm.
to finally like I really honor the fact that he's been brought into my life to help me evolve and enlighten. And that's why I went through that. Go ahead.
Absolutely. And the two keywords that you said were that I think we forget, and this is how we get from a disempowered state to an empowered state, is to look at this as an opportunity to and an honor to heal. It was an honor to go through this. It doesn't feel like it at the freaking time, but it's an honor because it's my opportunity to grow, to see where I'm not healed. And it's about me forgiving in many ways ourselves for the person we were then, and we don't have to continue to be that person. It's an opportunity to, like you said, heal, forgive, love, opportunity, honor, and we're honoring ourselves. So when we honor ourselves, that ultimately means we're honoring the people who are around us. And that's your gift. That's the fear of the vulnerability and looking at shit is only that. It's fear. And we know that fear isn't real.
Well,
It's the boogeyman. It's the
fear is the
boogeyman.
lack of faith. Like dark is the lack of light. Like fear is a lack of faith. And that's why it's faith over fear. And I am like, I face fear often with what I do because I stand up. And we all do. We all do that. When no matter what level, it's not like, as we know, it's not like one wrong is wronger than a wrong.
Right. Yes.
you know and I remember when I first started learning uh, all of this stuff in the Course of Miracles and everything. I was like, what do you mean, like murder's worse than than killing a bug, right?
Right.
Because I give the bug less value.
Right.
But now if the bug is trying to hurt me, like a mosquito is trying to bite me and I know that I'm going to swell up, that's self-defense, right? If someone's coming at you and attacking you, you always have the right and the duty to protect yourself.
Right. The
That's
right to be.
honorable.
Yep.
But what was your intention when you killed the bug? I'm just going to kill the bug because I just, he's in my way, or like, have you set boundaries and know that? But, and I know that would be a real trigger for some people because it was a trigger for me, right? Life is a life of a soul is more than a bug. I'm just using that as an example to illustrate that a wrong is a wrong is a wrong. It's the intention of it.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. If I'm out there just killing things because I can, that doesn't mean, and meaning like animals or whatever. But if the intent is I'm going to hunt for food to feed my family, or here's some clothing, or here's, conservation pieces of it, the intent, and only we know what our intent is. Like I have to look, excuse me, within my own innermost self to really look and see what my intent is, because I can say what it is to you and everybody around me to make myself look good. And that's what we're talking about, being vulnerable, is really looking at my own innermost self and saying, Christy, what is it that you want? What is your intention? How do you feel? It doesn't matter what the people be around me think. And that's where I'm always striving to get. And that's where Course in Miracles and all the different things is helping me to grow, because I don't think we're ever done, because we heal at all these different layers again and again and again and again.
And with that said, because some people who could maybe, when we post this, there's people who do things in life that has been some light has come. It could be to children or whatever. And so I just want to touch base that in honoring a wrong, there is no harm. So when you're killing an animal to to provide food for yourself. That's why like Indians prayed and they were like, and that's what I was just cooking stew. I'm praying over the meat and I'm giving it gratitude and thanks. So there is a difference because the intention isn't to have harmed the cow that's providing the meat for me to make my son's pot roast and feed them tonight. It I honor the life of the cow and everyone that touched it. And when you, that's why we pray over food, because if there's anything bad, ill in that cow or the people that touched it or whatever, then I'm vibrationally with intention in the ethers of the world, like saying, please remove the negativity from this,
Right.
that it can, provide us with goodness. And so that's where the intention is. So if you're doing it and you're harming someone, your intent is to harm, even if you are trying to think that it's right. We don't know your heart. I am not the judge. Thank God.
No kidding. No kidding.
We are not the judge. We're just here to help people with their own stuff
Absolutely.
and
Yeah. And good
ourselves.
thing. So thanks for clarifying that. And it really, our intent is to not bring negative intentions out to anything that we do. It's just an opportunity to feel the vulnerability in a safe space, of course. And so that people can heal and really just live, and without that burden of just all of it. We all have our burdens.
Oh my God. And we do, and we've been hurt. And it's like, okay, I mean, we both have our past stories, but I was a beaten, I was in a very wealthy environment, but beat like strangled and kicked, and my dad was dying. My dad died. My brother was dying and died, and we moved 5 times, and I was changing this and that, and other people died. Literally, other people died. I had like 5 or 6 deaths within 3 years. I was going back to school. I mean, any one of those could be a reason for me to have dwelled in that, that instead my faith was so strong that I was able to get out of that and go back and help other abused women. So I used it and I didn't hate him and resent it. I had to constantly, at 33 years of this, it was 33 years ago, I had to constantly and still do forgive that and use that to help heal me. But I don't ever feel like it happened to me, it happened for me. And that's
Correct.
I think Tony Robbins says that. It happens for us, not to us. And that's something I really had to embody and understand too. So that's really helpful.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
Hey, I know we're getting ready to move on. One thing that I in 10, we're on 7-1-10 of this book that we're looking at, and it says he lacked the trust that makes forgiving truly. So lacking the trust that makes forgiving truly, and so he has not received the benefits of the gift. I gotta say that trust is one of the hardest things because like being vulnerable, um, I think it's easier for me to forgive than to trust. And so
Ooh, ooh, question. Are you really forgiving if you don't trust?
I think you just called me out on my shit.
I don't know. But like I can forgive an abuser, maybe not. So let's talk about it. So I can forgive an abuser, somebody who harmed me. Do I trust them? But maybe the trust is that trusting myself, knowing that they're going to cause harm. I have to trust myself to know that they're going to cause me harm. So therefore, I can't freaking trust them, but I can trust me.
But what I was doing is I haven't trusted myself to be in another relationship.
Ooh, ooh.
So although that's another layer of forgiveness or another layer of healing, is trust is another layer. And that's
Yes,
the layer I'm working on right now.
yes.
So thank you for calling me out on that. Really, I love that. Thank you. That was a gift, by the way. I appreciate that gift. I'm gonna open that gift today.
Nice. All
Okay.
right, let's go. When a teacher of God has tried to be a channel for healing, he has succeeded. Should he be tempted to doubt himself or to doubt this, he should not repeat his previous effort. That was already maximal because the Holy Spirit so accepted it and so used it. Now the teacher of God has only one course to follow. He must use his reason to tell himself that he has given the problem to one who cannot fail and must recognize that his own uncertainty is not love but fear. Ooh, here we go. Here's that fear word. And therefore hate. Oh my gosh.
So when we don't trust, so when our intention is good and we're not honoring, we're like doubting ourselves. Doubt is dishonor to creator and ourselves.
Well, and what they're saying here is hate. Like I never thought of it as hate. Like, oh, that's strong. That's really a strong word. Like it just feels so violent in many ways. Like just saying the word is so violent. Like I was thinking, when was the last time you've said that? Like I hate blah 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 blah. Like I don't even remember the last time I've said I hated something.
Well, and a couple months ago, I had to come to terms with the fact that I did have that in my cells in my because I didn't want to admit that. So I
Yeah.
was like, no, 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 I don't hate. And then I did a deep dive for a whole entire week
Good
purposely.
point. Good
And
point.
so I because we're like, oh no, that would make me not a good person, right? But and was it hate? Was it hurt? Was it abandonment?
Mm.
Um, I think that's all tied in together. And so I had to say the word and to bring that up into myself so that I could release it and to honor it and let it go.
Right, because and it's so interesting that you said this because my cousin, we're very good friends, and she's very spiritual person, and she said, Christy, maybe what you need to do is an audit and write down who your actions, what are my actions saying that I'm about versus what I think I'm about.
Well, and maybe it's like I hated that this happened, or I hated that I allowed it to for me to react that way, or you know what? And then allowing that, and then being like, okay, but I'm transferring that hate, my figure eight. I'm taking that hate that I'm finally identifying with, whether it's abandonment or whatever, and then transforming it to, okay, now I've given it a name, a title, a label, a name
Yes.
by any other, whatever. And then I'm like, you know what? I am very thankful for that opportunity so that I could release that and transform it into love.
Right. Versus being in denial. I think so much of our lives, at least for me, isn't denial of what it is that I'm doing. Like, no, 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 no. I want it to be true. So therefore it is true. And I'm just going to like turn a blind eye to it. Because, like you said, I don't want to have to see that, holy, that's really who I am. Like my actions are saying this. And this is where what I thought I was. I thought I was a kind, giving, considerate, respectful person. And yes, I am on many levels. But then if you dig down a little bit more, if I have this hate and fear inside of me, that's causing me to react in a way that does not align with who I want to be. Who I want to be. And that's where we have this conflict, is because who I want to be isn't necessarily who I am. And so we have to build a bridge to get me from who I want to be to what I am. I guess the bridge would go that way. And I think your figure eight is one of the best ways to do that. So how can I transform this disrespect or this surface level? I want people, like, there's always a benefit to what it is that we do. So therefore, if it's benefiting me, why the hell do I want to change? Like, there's not a problem. And until we see that it's not benefiting me, or I want to grow for the sake of growth, will I ever change? Will I ever step into that figure eight and transform it into love, transform the hate into love? And we can label the hate whatever that is for us, because it could look different for me versus you.
And you know what? I was very angry before. There was times where I would have a trigger, and it would come out in an anger, like with my words. And words are swords. Words are, words kill the soul. So I would have a trigger and I would say the words. And now I've released that trigger. So I think that maybe people who have anger issues, it's that they haven't healed that hate, that resentment, that hurt inside of them. And that when you can release that like that, or however long it takes, it's beautiful, because I recognize now when that trigger comes up, it's just like running 10 miles. I felt that first. Well, I don't run 10 miles. Let's just be clear. But I'm just using that because people can relate. Um, but like when I was walking, I used to walk a lot, and with my foot hurt, 500 steps was a lot. And then I was walking 10,000 steps, and so you're building that resistance, you're building that, stamina. And so I think that's the same way when we recognize that trigger. Now it's like, boom, we're able to instantly let it go.
Yeah, and you got to find the willingness to do that and realize that it's hate. And so sometimes I'm in denial because I'm like you said a while back here, I don't want to say that I'm a person who hates something. Like, whoo, that can't be really me. Is that really me? That's not who I want to be. But that's
Okay.
who you are. But that's who you are. And if we cannot accept who we are, we can't fucking move forward. Sorry for the F-bomb, but there it goes.
I had an F-bomb shirt on earlier, so if
I'm not
somebody doesn't like that, they don't have to watch.
I'm not going to tell you what's on my pen that I'm using.
Oh, I have all kinds of F-bomb mamas shirts. My friend makes it.
Yeah,
Cups.
yeah, they're good. Anyway, we're going to move on. What's hate?
Okay.
Um,
I
so
think
anyway, his position has thus become untenable, for he is offering hate to one to whom he offered love. This is impossible. Having offered love, only love can be received. But you have to make sure that you're actually offering love and not hate. And sometimes we get the two mixed up, and we're in denial that we have the two mixed up.
And that's what like that whole transformation, like that it used to come out with my words and anger. So is anger not the bottom line of hate?
Mm.
I'm just
Hmm.
saying. Could be.
It could be. It is in this that the teacher of God must trust. This is what is really meant by the statement that the one responsibility of the miracle worker is to accept the atonement for himself. The teacher of God is a miracle worker because he gives the gifts he has received. Yet he must first accept them. Cannot give away anything that you do not have. So we have to accept our stuff. So this is my sideline there. He need do no more, nor is there more that he could do. You don't need to do more because there's no more that you can do. By accepting healing, he can give it. If he doubts this, um, let him remember who gave the gift and who received it. This is his doubt corrected. He thought the gifts of God could be withdrawn. That was a mistake, but hardly one to stay with. And so the teacher of God can only recognize it for what it is and let it be corrected for him.
You know what I got out of that is it's like, it was once you open a gift, I don't know how you are, but like once I found out like Santa Claus wasn't real, I wanted to tell everybody. It's those stages that I talk about in my book. So once I open a gift, it's like, oh my God, I gotta show you what I got.
Yes,
And I want to
yes.
you gotta have this. You want to share that. And that's excitement. And when you have excitement and you want to share it, that's a gift that you've been given so that you can share it. And that's why like we're supposed to always act in excitement. What inspires you? What excites you? And Bashar says that, and others have said that. Tony Robbins says that. So many people is when you're excited about something, you want to share it with others. You want to give that gift to others. And so when you act from inspiration,
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
is that is an act of love.
Yeah, and what came to my mind with this is about the whole healing thing. Let's see, what was it? He like the give the gifts he has received it, he must first accept them. I can't do any more than accept it. So accepting healing, he can give it. So I cannot change my mind with the mind that made me sick.
Yes.
Sick mind can't heal a sick mind.
Yeah. That makes sense. That's why, like, I was stuck for a while because I had to go back and release
Mhm.
all that. I had to let it come up.
So what would be the first step in healing? The first step in healing in my mind is accepting where you're at. And then, so it's like,
It's acknowledging that you have it. Like, I had to acknowledge, and had he not taken me back to court for the third time over, um, I wouldn't have had that opportunity. I had what was going to make me do it? What was going to make all of us enlightened if like the carpet's not pulled out from underneath you? Those are
right.
opportunities for us to do that. Just like the last 4 years, so many it brought up so much for people. If we're just going through in our hypnotic rhythm, we're not going to change that. It's going to take a lot to want to change. But when someone knocks you out of your hypnotic rhythm and then you're trying to get back into it and you're like, wait a minute, this isn't that doesn't feel comfortable anymore. So you have to deal with why. That
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yes, it does. It does. Not, yes. Because sometimes we change because it becomes we blah, 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 become aware of it. Other times, like you said, the rug is pulled out from under us, whether that's it could be a million things. Everybody gets to name it or whatever that is. Because what could knock me out might not knock you out. We all have our different levels of pain or whatever. And then until we um decide that that's enough, are we willing then to accept the gift of healing? That's
Well,
really
and to that effect, like what knocked me out a year ago, or what would have triggered me a year ago, or 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, like now you can say the same exact thing to me and intensify it times 10. And I'm gonna be like, oh, I know where you're coming from.
because that's a gift. That's the gift.
Mhm.
We don't have to be at the mercy of the thing that caused the pain.
I don't have to react. I can like respond with grace.
Hmm. And I hate the fact that other things control me. Don't have to be at the mercy.
You hate it, do you? I got Pointing out each other's words.
Oh shit.
Words.
Thank you for that gift.
Words cast spells.
That's interesting. That's an opportunity I'm going to dig into a little later.
Mine's trust today, so it's only fair that you have yours. Okay.
Okay. So, I don't remember where we're at.
We're on 4.
Okay, one of the most difficult temptations to recognize is that to doubt a healing because of the appearance of continuing symptoms is a mistake in the form of lack of trust. As such, it is an attack.
Oh, let's just pause there. So whether someone's having a healing and they still have the symptoms, they're like, man, I did the work, or they're waiting for money
Yes.
because people have a big trigger, not that you
Yeah.
or I do, about receiving money and
Yeah.
what in our own BS on that. But we already know, and I think we're there by going through all this and through life, is I already know that I'm wealthy.
Yeah.
Even though it hasn't technically shown up, I know that I am abundantly wealthy. And that is because I trust that.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I think the thought that came to my mind since you had talked about money and I used the word hate, it hit me that because I don't like being at the mercy of someone, but then I'm thinking, or something, am I at the mercy of money? I don't know. So something to
I don't
think
know.
about.
Let that gold mine within you release.
That's right, damn it. Said that this morning. Okay. Usually it seems to be just okay, as such, it is an attack. Usually it seems to be just the opposite. It does appear unreasonable at first to be told the continued concern is attack. It has all the appearances of love, yet love without trust is impossible. And doubt and trust cannot coexist. So you could put relationship in there, you can put money in there, you can put whatever you want in there. And hate must be the opposite of love, regardless of the form it takes. Doubt, not the gift, then it is impossible to doubt its result. This is the certainty that gives God's teachers the power to be miracle workers for they have put their trust in him. Wow, that was pretty powerful.
That was a lot.
Wow.
It is with certainty that gives God's teachers the power to be miracle workers, for they have put their trust. And you know what? I mean, we don't like if we truly are trusting in honor, why would we doubt or question? And well, I can tell you why, because we've been programmed to, right? I mean, and so it's that unprogramming of
Yes.
an agenda to help us enlighten. I really think the agenda is to help us step up and enlighten ourselves. Because without the carpet being pulled out from underneath us, what we're gonna allow ourselves to be controlled. We're gonna allow ourselves to get in a hypnotic rhythm and not change our rhythm to flow as it should.
Right. And we allow ourselves. We forget how powerful we are.
We do.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
of us.
I'm going to keep reading. The real basis for doubt about the outcome of any problem that has been given to God's teacher for resolution is always self-doubt. And that necessarily implies that trust has been placed in oh my gosh. And that necessarily implies that trust has been placed in an help me with that word,
Illusion,
illusory,
illusionary self.
illusory self, for only such a self can be doubted. This illusion can take many forms. Every illusion can take forms, many forms. That's my sidebar. Perhaps there's a fear of weakness and vulnerability. Perhaps there's a fear of failure and shame. Ooh, a
Oh, that's
social
hitting home.
that, yeah, it's hitting me. I could almost cry about that. Perhaps there's a fear of failure and shame associated with a sense of inadequacy. Holy,
That's a whole that's two
like
sentences packed
I
full of.
know we're both
Okay.
like it's got
Oh, oh,
my
did you just call my shit out?
right.
Perhaps there
And
is a fear of weakness and vulnerability, and vulnerability is like the root of so much. And then perhaps there is a fear of failure. And shame is such a low vibration.
Yes, it is.
And it's because we perceive it as being vulnerable instead of trusting and loving. And then associated with the sense of inadequacy. Wow, that was impactful. And then we go on to more, which you haven't read yet. Yeah.
Perhaps there's a guilty embarrassment stemming from false humility. The form of the mistake is not important. What is important is only the recognition of a mistake as a mistake. Like I said, you cannot be in fucking denial. You cannot, if you get off autopilot, you you wake up and like, what? Like you come out of the fog.
If you
And
make a wrong turn, you figure it out. There's a solution. Every problem has a solution. So by being, oh, wait a minute, I'm going south, I'm supposed to be going north, or oh my
mm,
God, I'm going east and I need to head north. It's redirecting. It's not like we perceive it as like, oh my God, now I've done this. All right, well, just like figure this shit out and get back on the damn road.
it's just a redirection. That's all. But like you said, we've been programmed to believe it's something other than what it is. So the mistake is always some form of concern with the self, some concern with the self to the exclusion of the patient. It is a failure to recognize him as part of the self and thus represents a confusion in identity. Conflict about what you are has entered your mind and you have become deceived about yourself. And you are deceived about yourself because you have denied the really
You
want
fro
the problem solved. You cannot doubt. Holy shit.
I think you
If you are
froze.
certain what the problem is, you cannot doubt. Doubt is the result of conflicting wishes. Be sure of what you want, and doubt becomes impossible. Holy crap, that's the answer to life's problems right there. Boom.
Well, doubt. I mean, we think we put so much weight on hate. Isn't doubt the worst? And
Yeah.
shame.
Yeah, because I can't go anywhere. Like, oh, is this the right way? Oh, what if I'm wrong? Oh, I can't make a decision. Oh, is this the
Not
right
my jam.
career? Like that. I feel like this totally called me out. Like, oh, I know what I don't want, but what do you want? Are you sure? Are you right? Who says you should deserve this?
If you really want the problem solved, you cannot doubt. You froze again. You're freezing. Are you cold?
You were froze too. Are we good now?
Oh, it says my internet's unstable. Jerks. Okay. I think we're good.
All right, good.
It's 10 o'clock. If you were you want to finish it out?
Oh, I must have frozen. I didn't. If you are offering only healing, you cannot doubt. If you really want the problem solved, you cannot doubt. If you are certain what the problem is, you cannot doubt. Doubt is the result of conflicting wishes. Be sure of what you want, and doubt becomes impossible.
That is amazing. And doubt is, I mean, trust is the opposite of doubt, right?
Yeah. Mm.
That was packed full. And then also, so we can say, how do you fix doubt? And that's like with whether it's a breathing technique, prayer. I mean, prayer is saying, hey, yo, universe, source, whatever you want to call it. I call it creator, God, whatever someone wants to call it. It's saying, hey, setting your intentions as you start the day. This is what I'd like to have today. But visualizing, I just want to, I know we're getting ready to pop off. And I just want to say that when you visualize, athletes who visualize a basketball game equally as much as they practice it win.
Yes,
And those
absolutely.
who only practice but never visualize are like, why am I not doing this? Because the power of the mind to walk through that and do all that, it does require you to actually get out there and move your muscles and do it. But visualizing. So when you visualize, when you wake up in the morning, you visualize your day, and when you go to bed and you're like grateful for like, hey, this, and that happened. I got, I three things I wanted to get done. I got done six or five or whatever. So grateful. Or this happened, and give yourself grace. But this is what I want tonight as I rest. This is what I want to remember, or whatever. Setting your intentions when you wake up in the day, visualizing that. Take 1 minute, take 2 minutes, however long you want to take, and truly visualize. Like I have my toes in sand and I know exactly the house that I'm in and I know the beach that I'm on. And I'm there.
Mhm. Mhm. Plan. Like I have to start taking that action. Otherwise, it's not gonna um happen for me. And I have to quit judging the action. Like, oh, I'm not gonna visualize because that's woo-woo stuff. No, because like you said, there's another research article or research study that was done about like I don't remember his name, but he was in concentration camp. And every time that he visualized playing golf and visualized playing golf in his swing and just really, really meditated on it. And well, guess what happened when he went out to the golf course? Hadn't golfed in 3 years. He beat the people who were actually golfing because of his mindset and constantly visualizing what it was like, the swing, down to like the minutest detail. And it happened. So I think that we do not give ourselves enough credit for how powerful we are.
And how powerful taking the time to pray and some people are like, oh, meditation, this or that. I don't care if you're breathing,
Right.
whatever it is for you, you find you do you, I'll do me. But that visualization is so important. I talk about that in my book, Creating Your Own Movie. I see myself on that beach. I have that my toes are in the sand. I know the chair I'm sitting on. I know who I'm talking to. I know some of the actions that are happening in the house. I mean, I'm very clear on that. And
Well, and we have to remember that meditating isn't just sitting here, legs crossed and going, for hours. That is not the only way to meditate. There are lots and lots of ways to meditate. And one way too is just learning all about something and focusing on it. Like, how do you get to know something? Well, you research it, you think about it, you write about it, you talk to other people about it. That can be a form of meditation too, that you're focusing on something that's good for you, you know? So there's just lots and lots of ways. So we just need to not judge it and just let things kind of happen. I mean, you
yeah,
have to be intentional.
and everybody find their own. What I do may not be right for you, but you just do you. And I can share what I do. And if that work resonates, great. And if it
Well,
doesn't, find somebody.
exactly. You have to give it a try because if you don't, how are the flip are you going to know if it works for you?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right.
Well, you go enjoy your birthday. And this is our first official K and K, raw and real K and K, whatever we're doing. It's official.
It's official. We're launched. All right.
All right.
Bye.
Hang on. I'm going to stop.